The results are in. You're either ecstatic or you're depressed. So what do we do now? Well, if you're happy, you might think all of our problems are going to go away. And if you're sad, you're thinking the problems are just going to get 1,000 times worse. But I hate to break it to you, neither one of those things are true. We still have to get to the root causes of our problems. And this might apply to you in your own life. If you think that just getting a new job or getting a new spouse, boyfriend or girlfriend, or whatever it might be, get into a new relationship, get new friends, if you don't change within yourself, the outside problems are going to still materialize around them, whether you like it or not. And I hate to say it, but that's the same way for our country. We have problems that we're not solving. We're just saying this person's going to fix them, this administration is going to fix them, when in reality, we have to do some deep diving and we have to figure out how we're going to set up a future for this country. We've had a lot of weird things happen in the past 8, 12, 16 years, and we're not dealing with it very well. We've now become so polarized on either end of the spectrum that we can't even communicate with one another. I saw these, news articles about what Trump was saying about Liz Cheney, and it's ridiculous that people can even make these claims they're just making stuff up because they hate someone so much. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong. All I'm saying is our view is warped. And so if you're upset because Trump won, then you're now in this position where you think the world's going to end, that he's going to become this dictator. And you might be right, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because whether Trump does go crazy or whether he does make things better, it's not up to him, it's up to us. We have to step up to the plate. I've been making videos about this all week, about we have to make our own bets. We have to do these things. We have to put our chips on the table to be able to bargain, to be able to figure out what we're going to do. And if we think that just because one administration is in and the other's not, that things are going to go well or things are going to be doom and gloom, I hate to say it, but it's been bouncing back and forth for the past either 4 or 8 years, for the past 100 years, 200 years, since we've been in, it's bounced back and forth between different administrations, different people, different ways of looking at things. And the only time that we solve problems is when we come together and we get to the root causes of those problems. So again, whether you're happy or whether you're sad, what we have to realize is that the problems still exist. And if Trump doesn't come up with good solutions, then we're going to have to figure out better solutions. And we're going to have to bring them to him as a people. And if you're someone who's, and you hate Trump, you can't stand him, you think that he's the devil, he's your president, whether you like it or not. All these people that said, oh, he's not my president, you're only causing more problems for the future. And so again, whether you love him or hate him, he's not your savior and he is not your devil. He is just a person. And if we, as the people, start to figure out these root causes of problems, instead of just saying you need to fix things or you're causing more problems, if you don't look at yourself, it's like I said, just in your own life. If you look at your partner and you say it's all your fault, you're going to then break up with them, divorce them, whatever it might be, and you're going to bring the same problems and they will manifest in another person, because that's how life works. It's not your will, it's God's will. And I'm going to throw that word out there. You can call it your higher power, you can call it the universe. But if we think that we are God, the universe, your higher power, God, likes to show you how powerful you really are and likes to go, okay, well, how about this? Okay, well, how about that? And if we have a perspective of going, look, there's something bigger here. I need to do my part, the things that I can control. The other stuff that I can't control, like the election, I can't control every single vote in the country. So what then happens now? How do I do my part to help the country? Now, if you don't want the country to heal, if you want it to burn down, then hey, all right, then burn it down. But what I'm saying is if you truly feel like you want what's best for the country and you're coming from a good point of view, you got to get your own stuff together first and then work your way outside of yourself, your community, then your city, then your state, and then maybe we can start talking about the nation. But again, whether you're happy or whether you're sad, there's still so much more work we have to get done. all of the different problems that we have in this country are not going to be solved just by some president making an executive order. He might make things worse. He might have all the right answers, do all the right things, but still make things worse because we're not willing to accept it. And that might be half the country that's upset that the election went away from them, that went the opposite way. You can just make things worse. Even if the person's giving you exactly what you want, you might still say, hey, I don't want it because it's coming out of that person's mouth. So we as a people have to take a step back and we have to look at ourselves and go, what's my role in all of this? Am I just being a deviant because I hate this person? Or do I really want what I say I want? Do I really want what's best for the country? Do I really want what's best for these other people, for these people who are marginalized, or this group or that group or whatever it might be? Do I really want what's best for them? I see that in a lot of these people who go out there and they say they're doing things for minorities or they're doing things for this certain group or whatever it might be. And when you really look at the root and you really look at the long-term effects of what they're doing, it's actually hurting them. It's actually causing more. Let's just take racism. The policies and the way that they're going about things actually create more racism. And people look at that and go, how could you say that? Well, you just have to extrapolate out. You have to do a little bit of thinking. You have to, instead of just looking at the surface level of what's happening right now in this moment, you have to dig deeper. And that's what I see what's going on right now. Whether you're happy or whether you're upset, we're only looking at the surface level and we're not getting down to the root causes of things. And we're not looking at what's really going on. And so if we just keep complaining about the surface level, who's in charge, who's the face of our nation, we're never going to solve the problems and we're never going to heal and we're never going to be able to figure out what we need to do. The problems are there, but like I said, with something like racism, there's solutions and then there's creating more problems that we have. And I feel like right now our nation is creating more problems. Healthcare, we're creating more problems with that versus coming up with solutions. Education, we're creating more problems. All these areas, we're creating more problems. And it doesn't matter if Trump comes up with the greatest solution ever, we still have to walk the walk and still have to deliver on our end, or else we can make it worse. We can cause chaos. Healthcare, if we come up with all these great drugs and we come up with all these great programs for people, but we don't use them, we just eat ourselves to death, we just consume and consume and consume, and we don't take any of the advice, then it's all null and void. It doesn't mean anything, okay? So with our problems, if we get down to the root causes of things and we say, okay, what's the real issue? Abortion, that's another one. What's the real issue with abortion? I don't look at it as should the person live or die, right? Should the baby survive or should you be able to kill it? I think it's a sex problem. No one got an abortion. No one got pregnant on accident. They had to have sex to get there. So that's the question that we should be asking. The healthcare problem, it should be talking about health. It shouldn't be talking about these drugs. It should be talking about our habits. It should be talking about the way that we look at food before we get there. So we have these problems. We have these issues. If we just think we're going to solve them by sprinkling things on the top, it's never going to get fixed at the bottom because it's never going to sink all the way down. We have to get from the roots, dig the tree up, figure out where we need to plant it and plant it. Right now, we're not doing that. We're just complaining about this person won or celebrating that this person won. And either way, unless if we get to work, I'm telling you, we're going to have to get dirty. It's going to have to be difficult for us to solve these problems. It's not just going to be with a wave of a pen and everything's going to go magic. You're going to have this backlash from one side or the other because someone's going to be upset with these results. So how do we then solve? How do we make ourselves, again, how do we make the country where we want it? Whether you think it's great right now and you want to make it better, or you think it's shit right now and you want to make it back to where we thought we were, it's not the same because of all of our challenges, but we have to work for it. And I'm telling you right now, whether you're happy or sad, the president is not going to change it. We're going to change it. We have to step up to the plate. So you can sit there and complain all you want and say, oh, the world's ending because this person's in. Or, hey, this is the greatest thing ever. Everything's going to change. It's not. Both of those situations are wrong. You're going to have to work. I keep talking about this quote from John F. Kennedy. Ask not what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. If you really want what's best for the country, you got to do your part. Bar none. Simple as that. And I know it sounds simplistic. And it's not simple. It's hard. It's challenging to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what do I need to do to make myself better? It's very challenging, but that's the only way that we're going to heal. If we don't take personal responsibility, if we don't see what we're doing, then none of it's going to matter. And that's what I see going on right now. Whether you're upset or whether you're happy, we can't be satisfied with what's going on, and we can't just think, oh, this is the end of the world. We have to realize that there are solutions, and we're going to do that as a people, and we have to work together, and that means that you got to do your part first. Do your part, then talk to someone, then we figure out solutions, and then we get to where we want to go. So again, whether you're happy or sad, remember that the work there's still a lot of work to be done, and it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum you're on, all right? There's still all these problems, and we're gonna have to deal with them. And there's no magic wand that's gonna be waved, and there's no devil that's gonna come in and zap your rights and your powers and things like that. We might think that way, but it's just not gonna happen in this nation. We're cowboys and Indians. The United States, we're cowboys and Indians. It's the wild, wild west. And we're gonna have a lot of freedom, so it's gonna be up to us. It's got to be up to us to figure out these solutions. So when you're down or you're happy, realize, hey, let's stay a little bit more even keel. Let's think about what we really need to do. Let's look at these roots of these problems, and let's come up with solutions versus just these topical answers and these gotcha moments and all that kind of stuff. The work is still there to be done, whether you're happy or sad. So let's roll up our sleeves and let's get to work.